Commercial fruity Zobo drink with preservative.
So these are the things we are going to be using to prepare our Zobo. We are going to be needing a big pot. Then this is it's called ongaza that we use to sieve it, this white material. Then we have this sieve. Then we also have the other bigger sieve. So you can get the three. Then we are going to be needing using these bottles. I'm going to be dropping contact for these bottles. So these are the bottles I'm going to be using for packaging. So for the Zobo or for the hibiscus leaf, I'm going to be using half cup of this bowl. And if you are using a measuring scale, it's going to be 285 grams. So if you don't have a scale, you can just use half cup paint for this. So this is how you measure it to get the right measurement. So if you don't have a digital scale, you can use half cup paint. So it's going to be 285 grams. So these are some of the ingredients for the Zobo drink. We have our Zobo leaves, also known as hibiscus flower. We have our pineapple that will blend for our pineapple juice. Then we have our pineapple pea, which is the back of the pineapple. Then we have our ginger. So if you want your own to be hot, you can add excess ginger. We have our cloves. Zobo drink. So we are going to wash our Zobo leaves. We're going to pour water inside the Zobo leaf, then wash it and place it inside the pot. If there are dirt inside, you can remove it. So when you are washing it, you should be very fast because the thing can infuse inside the water. As you can see, it's already coming out, like the color is already coming out. So you have to be fast while washing it. So after washing your Zobo, you are going to pour water inside the pot. Make sure that the water is a little bit above the Zobo leaves. Then you place on your gas cooker, or if you are using any cooker you are using, even if it's fire you are using. So make sure the water is above the Zobo leaves. So the water I added here was not enough. I added extra water. It was not recorded though, but make sure your water is above the Zobo leaves. So after boiling for about 5 minutes, you are going to add your pineapple peel to it. So this is the back of the pineapple. You are going to be adding it to it with your blended ginger and cloves. You add it to your Zobo, then you leave it to boil for about 30 to 35 minutes. So this is my ginger and my cloves. Please, if you don't want your Zobo to be pepperish, just use a little bit of ginger. If it is too much, it's going to be pepperish. So if you don't like it to be pepperish, just add about two, just blend about two ginger. Then you add your clove. So after adding it, cover it and allow to boil for 30 to 35 minutes. So after 30 minutes, I came back and I opened the pot. So as you can see, it's already boiling. Then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sieve it inside my bowl. So I'm going to sieve it inside this bowl. So after sieving it inside the bowl, I'm going to return it back to the pot. So I'm going to return it back to the pot, which is the zobo leaves. I'm going to return it back to the pot. I'm going to still add water that will still fill up the zobo the second time. So I'm going to add water that will fill it up, fill the zobo to the level of the zobo, a little bit above the zobo leaves. So you're going to leave it to boil for another 30 minutes. So I'm going to be blending the pineapple now. So after blending it, I'm going to sieve it inside the zobo drink. You can also pour it inside the zobo drink, then you sieve everything together. So I'm just adding water to the pineapple to help my blender blend it. So I'm going to sieve it inside my zobo drink. Either you sieve it like this or you pour it inside your zobo drink, then you sieve everything together. So I'm going to be sieving the zobo the second time. So the reason why you sieve it is that so that when they are drinking your zobo, they will not be seeing particles inside. So that's why you have to sieve it very well to remove those particles from it. For the preservative, you are just going to use 1 tsp of bicarbonate of soda. So this is bicarbonate of soda I'm using. So it's edible and it's safe for the body.
So just use 1 tsp, dissolve it in a little water, then dissolve it and turn it inside your zobo and bottle your zobo while it's still hot or while it's still warm, I mean.
So for the mixed fruit zobo drink, we have our zobo leaves, we have the already blended pineapple and the pineapple pea, then we have bananas, we have watermelon, then we'll be using date fruits, then this is the ginger. I used a little pieces of ginger and I did not blend it. So for the date, this is how you are going to peel the date. You are going to break it either with knife inside another bowl, then you are okay, so that it will be easy for your blender to blend it.
So you are just going to follow the step that I just taught. After you have already prepared your zobo, added your preservative, so you are just going to blend all your fruits together and turn it inside your already made zobo drink.
So this is me. I was trying to sieve my fruit that I blended together. So if you want it to be easy for you, instead of sieving it like this, just turn it inside this zobo water or this zobo juice. Just turn everything, both the date and everything, turn it inside before sieving it, because it was kind of difficult for me. And you have to sieve this thing with this fine sieve or with this cloth up to 3 times, so that there will not be particles, because there are fruits inside, there are little particles inside. So after you have done that, make sure you sieve it for at least 3 to 4 times to make sure there are no particles inside. And when you are doing this, make sure your hand is properly washed. If your hand is not properly washed, you can use hand glove for this. You can use hand glove for this because it's edible. It's what people will eat. Make sure your hand is properly washed. Then what I did here, I was trying to sieve the date. I noticed it was not really coming out because the thing was very thick. So what should we do is just turn everything inside this zobo juice so that the liquid will be kind of light. Turn everything together, then before you sieve it once. You sieve everything once, then after you have done that, try to sieve it again and again to make sure there are no particles inside, because when there are particles inside and your customers are seeing particles inside, they might start complaining. So you have to make sure that there are no particles inside. And it's also very faster if you just turn the date on the fruit inside your zobo juice. I don't know if you understand. So that's it. So this is me trying to sieve out the blended fruits. So make sure your hand is properly washed while doing this. Then I added my date. I poured my date, the remaining date inside the juice. Then I added the fruits, the remaining blended fruit. I added it. Then I'm going to sieve it over and over again. As you can see, there are particles inside. I'm going to So guys, you are going to be adding your label or your stickers to it after you have bottled it. So this is when I was cutting the shrink wrap. So you are going to measure the shrink wrap. You are going to measure it to know how many length is going to be enough for a full pack. Then after you have measured it, you cut it into two. So as you can see, you are going to open it up and tear it into two. Then from the center, you start arranging it from the center. So that's how you are going to arrange it. Then after arranging it, you cover it up. Then you use your heat gun to gum it up. So there are different flavors of Zobo here. That's why you are seeing some are darker than some. So this is how you cover it up. Then you use your heat gun, take measurement. Then you use your heat gun to wrap it.